Welcome to Transformation Talks, your guide to navigating complex change. I'm Hayley Sage, Director of Marketing for Project One, one of the UK's leading management consultancies. Today's episode is all about unpacking what it really means to be a consultant, beyond the stereotypes. So whether you're a client wondering what value consultants actually bring, someone considering a move into consulting, or an early career professional trying to figure out your next step, this conversation is for you. Today, I'm joined by Ashley Kenyon, a consultant at Project One of 4 years, who brings a really interesting perspective, not just on what consultants do, but how they think, adapt, and build trust with clients. We'll explore Ashley's career journey, what sets Project One consultants apart, and some honest advice for anyone looking to grow in this space. Ash, welcome to the podcast booth.
Thanks very much, Hayley. It's great to be here.
Really great to see you. And I'd like to start this podcast all about you. So tell me, what's your career journey been and how did you end up in consulting?
Sure thing. I don't think a particularly wild journey, but I started out, I'm going back nearly 20 years now. So I actually started out as a data analyst and systems designer, and early on was introduced to some system integration delivery consultants as part of projects I was working on. And getting to know the guys there, I was really quite attracted to the nature of kind of problem solving consultants have to deal with on a recurring basis, and how the kind of consulting work would be different, would be changing and be unpredictable over time as a consultant in terms of like which clients you'd be working with, the kind of work that you would be doing. So moving into that space in my early consulting years, I built experience working with organisations who kind of held the need and willingness to change, but needed support to understand the kind of steps they would need to take to achieve this, developing and delivering change roadmaps with them generally. Most of my career I've done that kind of role within large technology organisations in a variety of different kind of specialist roles, from technical solution design through transformation roadmap work, and later on taking on business change lead roles within programs.
So there's a lot of variety, isn't it? That's what I always find so fascinating about the consultant role, being able to go into the different environments, different cultures, different styles, and still bring that niche skill that you have.
Yeah, and the niche skill is, I believe, more on the soft side primarily. Any consultant, certainly from Project One, and we can come into that in a little bit, is bringing that breadth of different experiences from operating in major transformation programs and being able to kind of both blend that together, but also kind of marry that up with the ability to deal with the ambiguity, not being afraid of the unknown, and being able to kind of help guide our senior clients in particular through what can often be some really turbulent, challenging, and sometimes rough experiences in programs like the ones we work on.
Like we often say, you're the safe pair of hands.
Indeed, yeah.
And so what do you think a Project One consultant actually looks like in practice, considering those niche skills?
So the average Project One consultant is coming in with the client outcomes in mind and focused on delivering to the best of their professional capabilities. So unlike other consultancies we've worked alongside in the past, where there might be this broader set of capabilities, there might be kind of more senior roles, there might be more junior roles in the organisation. A Project One consultant comes with a pretty standard set of broad delivery capabilities that they will have built up over time, and the aim of them being that to come in, understand the client challenges, and look to kind of plot alongside client teams the path to project, whether it's transformation outcomes, whether it's change delivery or anything else in that space. Coming without the premeditated history of what's going on, not coming in with targets outside of their own delivery to achieve, or needing to support kind of broader teams from the organisation. It's coming in with eyes wide open, being able to have honest, open conversations with our clients over what is working, isn't working, what needs to change to realise what they're trying to do, and ultimately being open to whatever's going on. So, we're never scared of or turning ourselves away of the real challenges. Being able to adapt to different situations is the exciting part of spending your first few days with any given client challenge.
Yeah, really getting under the skin of what's happening.
Absolutely.
And that independent step back from everything really helps to, I guess, see the wood for the trees, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So it's very common for our team to go in and be in things like multi-supplier environments. So many of our team have operated within suppliers. Majority of my career was spent working in large tech organizations doing this kind of work, but you're doing it from a very different mindset in that space. So we're able to go in, help with what are common challenges or opportunities with different suppliers with different capability sets in there. We aren't tied to any particular frameworks, whether that is in delivery, whether that is in process delivery. We bring the knowledge and experience of seeing an awful lot of that out there across the industry, but we're kind of open to it if it's something that we believe we want to bring in or look at with a client. We're not wedded to any one particular way of working. It's about understanding the client challenges, client targets, and building something that fits for them and their target outcomes, over trying to shoehorn it into anything that will come in as like pre-prescribed in what they want to do.
So this is probably quite different from what people might expect from consulting, especially perhaps compared to more traditional Big Four consulting models.
It certainly is, yeah. So speaking with clients and colleagues here at Project One, I think one of the lead differences is consultants from certainly some of those larger organisations. I think it's quite unusual these days to get the one or two team members like Project One would often bring to an organisation. It would be working with larger teams from the larger consultancies, so kind of different approach and way of working generally there. I think it's more around, we're not coming in with the preconceptions of the process or the playbook that we will be following. It's bringing that broad experience. We've seen and done it in different ways, in different environments, with different clients, in different industries, understanding the client outcome and kind of picking the path from there that best fits to them. We're not wedded to a particular, the books, the theories, whatever. We'll bring what works, and we've got that adaptability to change. So it's comfortable with the ambiguity of what's not known and understanding that everything we're doing is heading in that kind of single direction. It's real world flexibility over theory-driven delivery would be a good way to sum it up.
And kind of no one size fits all.
Absolutely, yeah. No one size fits all, but very much in that, renowned as the safe pair of hands, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. And interestingly, we do work alongside other consultancies, often Big Four as well, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah, we do. And there's certainly scenarios out there where that works, and having the bigger, broader teams will be more effective. We offer quite a niche kind of set of capabilities in that space where something needs to be more targeted. We often work alongside other organisations, as you described, where we might be taking in to do a specific role within a larger program. But again, it's that adaptability of the consulting team that we hold here, where there are specific gaps, whether it's from a seniority, from a experience-driven perspective, or whether it's even to go in and support teams from other consultancies at times where they're hitting specific problems or challenges in programs as well.
Right. And we talked about that variety of customer that we work with. So what's it really like working with customers day to day, and how do you build trust quickly?
Yeah, no, good question. So again, I'll come back to that safe pair of hands mentality is always a good way to start. Doing sensible things has taken me a long way through my career as well, as alongside common sense. I think a lot of the work we do isn't in the mindset of just delivering a 3-month target outcome to a contract. It's about listening to client team members, understanding their problems, and knowing that whatever we're doing now, whether that is in a 1 month, 3 month, 3-year period with a client, it's about what is that lasting legacy going to be? What is the, not 3 month, 3 year, but what is the 5, 10, 15-year benefit of whatever we're helping them to achieve? And keeping that front of mind in kind of anything we're doing, being open to not just telling them what they're doing well in certain instances, but being open around where we think there may be challenges in potentially capabilities is a common one, particularly in the fast changing world of technology-driven process delivery within organisations, helping them open their eyes to new things that they might not be aware of, and also being open around where organisations may carry risks or concerns going forward, particularly in large transformation programs that can often be undercut or really anchored down and slowed down by what many would see as the basics of an operating organisation today. We're bringing that in and we're being open about that stuff. So it's helping to build that kind of trust in that we have been and done this kind of thing before, and that we're not going to stay quiet and we're not just going to go in and deliver what's on the paper. We're going to help them realise what the future needs to be.
I love that term, that lasting legacy. It's really going in there to make a difference that lasts, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I still speak to clients who we've gone in and worked with years later, and being able to go back and talk to them around some of the impacts of that has been great. It keeps me kind of doing what I'm doing and interested in making sure that we're doing the right job at the same time.
Yeah, you'll have quite a storybook to tell by
Absolutely,
the end
yeah.
of your career. You've
Yeah.
already got so many great stories to tell. So for someone listening who, I guess, is at the beginning of their career and wants to get into consulting or grow within the industry, what advice would you give to them?
And I'd say I can't think I've ever met two consultants in my career that would have the same story, and none of them would tell me that there is a perfect route into the kind of consulting industry, certainly at a senior level. I'd say it's being open to those core kind of skills that a good consultant would bring. So the acceptance of change, the acceptance of we will operate in environments where tomorrow could look absolutely different to what today is doing, and that's okay. That's going to happen. It's how we manage with that and not panic or make any rash decisions on the back of it, right? We're there to help our clients through those kind of challenges. So looking for experience opportunities where you can build that, for me, is key. And that can be done directly within industry, within a role. That can be done operating as a junior within another consultancy and kind of just building that project to project experience over time. But my advice would be to just appreciate and step back now and again the experience you're building in these different projects. Look for the opportunity to try new things and understand what you are good at and what you maybe struggle with or need to work on. I'm not sitting here today saying I'm anywhere near like a master of everything. I think the real value from consultancy is, unless you're in a kind of particular specialist area of consultancy, to just see how many of those kind of boxes you could tick, so that in any given conversation with a client, any kind of client challenge that may arise, you can at least do the steps kind of 1 and 2 of the 5 or 6 that might be needed to help set them on a path to either resolving a challenge or realizing a target outcome. That also helps build the trust, so you're not ever in a client challenge with a single person. You're going to be operating commonly with 20, 30, 40 members of a client team across a program that you might be working on. So again, you're able to have those conversations, be able to listen to the challenges, and you're just building that kind of broad set of knowledge early in a career that you're then just recognizing and able to lean on as you go through and start tying it all back together for whether it is a program leadership, whether it is a business change lead role in the future as a consultant.
That's great advice. Thank you. I'm sure that will help many people listening to that today. So throughout your whole career, what would you say has been your proudest moment?
God, there's a lot of ways I could answer that one, Hayley, just thinking back through the storied history here. So I think something I lean back on quite often as both a huge experience opportunity for me, but with real kind of client value delivery in it, was actually quite early on in my career. I was landed a project delivery role. It was a data migration, but it was for a government client of mine, and it was a pretty critical data set in terms of government infrastructure and involved public data at its core. And the timelines we were given came with a kind of, we're not expecting that to be achievable, but we need you to push as hard as you can towards that. And a data migration is something I'd never actually been involved in at the time. I was able to access, and this is again a key point for our what makes a good consultant. I was willing to ask the questions. I was willing to put things out there that might not have been correct in order to kind of keep things progressing, keep designs coming together, keep kind of readiness and test schedules coming together. And ultimately on a weekend with eyes way above anything I expected in terms of members of parliament and even cabinet ministers getting involved at one point to share their concerns, assure the planning that we had to complete this data migration, was able to go sit alongside the team delivering it over the weekend, keep things coordinated and structured, and to not only get that done, but to get a project like that done ahead of what even the client team expected was achievable safely and complete was great. It was a great kind of more of an experience for myself than anything, but gave me kind of a lot of quick access to both some of the technical platforms that were involved that I hadn't experienced before. It gave me a first kind of deep dive into test readiness cutover processes, which I've then reapplied for a good decade since in other projects. But yeah, that's an experience of a major cutover weekend with a lot of eyes over it who were very interested in what we were doing. The ramifications, if anything went wrong in particular, is something, I look back on as a real achievement of mine from my priors.
That's amazing. And also a great opportunity that you grabbed with both hands, which is another piece of your advice that you said.
Absolutely. And we talked earlier about the skills of a consultant. I wouldn't consider myself as operating as a consultant at that time, right? I was a project manager. I was relatively junior in the organisation I was working in at the time. But there are skills and there are methods from that as a delivery project, which I'm still using today, right? And there's several others which I can then piece together, right? And again, that's only when it's right. That's not shoehorning it in for the sake of it, but knowing that I've got that kind of experience in repository, and I'm able to share that with the other consultants in the team here at Project One, and vice versa, helps me go into any kind of given scenario challenge today with confidence that I will have, if not the ability within myself, the capability from the Project One organisation to tailor some results ultimately.
That's brilliant. Really great. Ashley, thank you so much for sharing your experience. There's a lot in there that I think will resonate with a wide range of listeners. And if you're listening and considering a career in consulting, or just curious about how it all works behind the scenes, we hope this gave you a clearer, more honest perspective. And if you have any questions, please get in touch via the website. Thanks for tuning in to Transformation Talks. We hope you found today's insights valuable in your journey to leading successful transformation. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and share it with your network. Stay connected with us for more expert insight and stories on delivering complex change and transformation in any organisation. See you next time.